I'm John from Unqualified Gamers. Hello, a podcast member of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the one you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com. And get ready, because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance by Director Phil Coulson. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents granted clearance by the S.H.I.E.L.D. Director.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I am Lab Rat Lauren.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., a Marvel Comic Universe podcast. This is podcast number 101, discussing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Season 3, Episode 10, Maveth. And Jessica Jones, Season 1, Episode 1, a.k.a. Ladies' Night. This podcast is recorded on Wednesday, December 9th, 2015. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agent Carter, Marvel's Daredevil on Netflix, Marvel's Jessica Jones on Netflix, and the general Marvel comic universe.
Because crunch.
If you'd like to talk to us about crunch, you can visit our website, legendsofshield.com, where you'll find all of our contact information, including our voicemail line, 844-THE-BUS-1. That's 844-843-2871. You can also find us on Facebook, where we're Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Podcast, Twitter, @Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., Tumblr, legendsofshield.tumblr.com, and YouTube, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. We also have forums available at forums.gonnageek.com, or you can search for Gonna Geek, all one word, on the Tapatalk app.
This time on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., we're going to be talking about our upcoming giveaway in January. We're going to be talking about the charity CCL for Kids. We're going to be talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Maveth. We're going to be talking about Jessica Jones, a.k.a. Ladies' Night. We're going to be talking about the weekly Marvel news and your feedback. So just very briefly, you have one day. So December 10th is the last day to get the donations in, to go to the Steve Boyd charity Comic Collector Live at CCL for Kids at comiccollectorlive.com. That is the letters CCL, the number 4, and kids spelled KIDS at Comic Collector Live. That's all one word.com. Please go ahead and send them a PayPal donation as a friend or a family so that they don't have to take any business hits. 100% of the proceeds will go directly to children at the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital in Tennessee. So please go ahead and give them their patronage. The families of the Children's Hospital down there, as well as the kids, definitely appreciate it. So thank you very much. I just spoke to Steve yesterday, and he is striving hard to make his final goal of $3,000 this year. So please, even as little as a $5 donation would do great. If you have more, please give more as well. So thank you very much on behalf of Steve Boyd, Comic Collector Live, and the Gonna Geek Network. So we usually have a great series of giveaways. We have kind of put it on hiatus for the holidays, but we will be back in January. We will be giving away our first giveaway. So just stay tuned for what we're going to be doing with that. And thank you again to everybody that participated in our giveaways this year, as well as congratulations to all of the winners, right, Lab Rat?
That is correct. And Lab Rat is because our most recent giveaway was, what is my supervillain name? And the winner of that got the Marvel Villains Collector Core box.
Yep, and that is in the mail on the way, as well as the previous giveaway, which was the S.H.I.E.L.D. shirt with the logo with the Kree writing on it. It's making its way to Australia still yet. Haven't heard about its arrival yet. Just waiting for it to get through customs, I think, or something. I don't know.
Those carrier pigeons are slow, man.
Apparently. And maybe they have multiple carrier pigeons on it because it's so heavy, even though it's just a t-shirt.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're small.
That's right. All right. So guess what? we had the mid-season finale of Agents of
Yay.
S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3 last night. I happened to be able to watch it last night before bed. I saw all the great live tweets, Lauren. It was a phenomenal episode, in my opinion. We'll be talking about it at length. Just to start out, as we usually do, it was directed by Vincent Misiano, who... he's got some cred to him.
I think we've talked about him before because that name's familiar.
Just a little bit. He's got definitely some experience, and it was written by, I was kind of surprised. I was thinking maybe Marissa and Jed would be writing this. Nope, it was Jeffrey Bell that put this one together. I was kind of shocked at that. But
so Jeffrey Bell and Vincent Misiano both worked together on Laws of Nature. It looks like was their last, most recent.
They also did another collaboration. I remember talking about this pair before. So excellent. Just loved it. Okay, so
I'm sorry. He didn't wait.
They didn't work together.
No, wait. He did. Yes, he did write. He wrote SOS Part 1. He didn't.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was looking at his producer credits and not his writing credits.
Yeah, as with everybody except for us three, everybody in the planet is a co-executive producer on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., except for the people that could actually give some merit to the show. So once again, Marvel, ABC, two ladies right here, Haley and Lauren, they will be glad to give you their service of making the big storylines, the actual scripts, the one-shot ideas, that sort of thing. They are available.
Immediately.
He can write jokes.
Jokes for days.
All right. So what was the most shocking moment to you, Lauren?
Okay, I figured something was going to happen to Ward. I wasn't quite expecting the crunch.
I know. Well, I called it last week, and I won't say like I called it, but we thought Ward was going to be inhabited by death or whatever you want to call it. I just didn't think he was going to die first. That was, and
I figured it was going to be something like that. In fact, this afternoon I went back and I was listening to last week's episode, and I was trying to say, okay, what did we get right? What did we get wrong? And I think we kind of got a lot of it right. But yeah, I figured something was going to happen to Ward, but I figured, maybe he'd get shot. Maybe he'd fall off a cliff.
He did get shot twice.
Yeah, but that didn't kill him. Instead, Coulson, I even figured maybe Coulson will strangle him. No, he takes his robot hand and he physically crunches his chest. And maybe it's just because I've been playing a lot of Dragon Age and there's a character. Actually, remember when I was watching Daredevil and I was like, that guy's the Grouchy Elf. Yeah. The Grouchy Elf in Dragon Age 2 does this thing where he just like reaches up into people's like chests and rips out their hearts. And that's kind of what it was reminding me of, except slightly minus the heart ripping. But yeah, the whole that was brutal. That was, Coulson. Wow. See, Coulson.
He wasn't trying to kill him. He was trying to give him CPR, right? And with the strength in the hand, he just did. It was just a little bit too much, and then oopsies. Well, we got to leave the planet now.
No, Coulson went full on dark side there for a minute. It was.
But can you blame him with all the people he's killed and everything like that?
The thing is, I can't blame him. But you want your heroes to be a little better than that. But you know that because, it's Marvel. They're gonna slip up. They're gonna be human, and he just couldn't resist, and I can't blame him.
2 years in the making. He was betrayed by him. He tried to corner him. He tried to get him left and right. He sent somebody else to kill him, and now it was his turn. He's like, oh no, this is going to be done. I'm going to take Ward.
Yeah, that was brutal.
It was. So Haley, what was your most shocking moment?
Seeing Ward again at the end in front of Booth's car.
With the little eye worm going around his head. Yeah, we did not see what happened at the Stargate at the end there. So we don't know what happened in that room, what the timeline was, who was in there with what. We have no idea when Ward came through or how or what. So, but obviously he's here now, or Death. Should we just call him Death now?
Right, because the only thing coming back through that portal is death.
Yep. Although
Foreshadowing.
that's incorrect because Fitz came back and Coulson came back, but the
Everyone
Stargate
came
team, SG, what was it? SG 6?
SG Evil.
Evil. I was going to say there was one SG team that was always sent somewhere and they never came back.
Oh yeah,
SG,
yeah,
I thought it was
know what you're
3.
talking about.
SG3 or something, yeah. But I like SG Evil better. That's awesome. So they didn't come back at all.
Yeah.
So when did you guys know that Death was Will, or Will was actually Death?
I suspected the whole time. I was clinging to my thing that I thought, to be honest, that Will was Death ever since Simmons first knew him.
Right.
So I was a little bit taken aback when they were like, "Oh, he died now." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's how it's going to be."
So when we saw Will after Simmons came back in that coda scene, in that shawarma scene, and he saw that there were no bullets left in the gun, that was Death. But before that, that was all Will. Will had survived to that time.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Now, I gotta give Coulson a little credit. I mean, he was suffering from a concussion the whole time, so I don't think he can legally be held responsible for his actions on the other planet.
I think he can. I don't think a concussion is a legitimate legal defense for murder.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, okay, the last time I had a serious concussion,
You went on a killing spree and didn't have to do any time?
no, I lay down on the couch and tried not to throw up. But I would not say that it compromised my thinking that much. Like, I didn't lie there watching TV and, suddenly find myself in some sort of altered state of consciousness in that I found myself thinking in like weird ways, like I would never think before. It was mostly just, ow, this hurts. I probably shouldn't fall asleep. Feeling very sorry for myself. Why is the room spinning? That sort of thing. It wasn't like sudden homicidal rage.
No more homicidal rage than usual.
I mean, yeah, no more. Well, I'm kind of too lazy, really, for that. So
I think a moment of shock to me was that Simmons actually released the lash, and I know she did it out of self-preservation, and very grateful that Lash did not kill her as promised. But that was a bit surprising to me that she would actually go to those extremes to stay safe.
I think I could see what she was probably thinking. She's probably thinking, okay, the lights went off. I can expect a rescue. I need time to hold them off while I get the rescue. May got him once, May can get him again. What she didn't expect was that Lash would be, I guess, cognizant enough to let out all the other Inhumans or open their little gel pods.
Yeah.
And then just kind of go wild. Because
that was not cool.
That was unpleasant.
At least now they know what they're fighting. They just don't know where he is. They're going to have to track him down again, which is going to be difficult because he knows that they'll be looking for him. And as we've seen before, the guy's pretty crafty. So we'll see how that...
Well, he's got Andrew's intelligence, and Andrew is a really intelligent guy.
Yeah, we've been talking all along on when is Deathlock going to come back, and I think Deathlock's going to be needed to go after Lash.
Maybe. I don't know. They've got a
I can
superhuman
see.
team now. Maybe they can handle Lash.
Maybe.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I would think that they're maybe at a disadvantage when it comes to Lash, given that he has more of the single-minded drive to kill them.
See, I think this is where the tie-in to Civil War comes, because S.H.I.E.L.D. will be blamed for the botch of the handling of Lash, because Lash is going to go out and he's going to do a lot of damage. So the powers that be, whoever they are in the Civil War, I mean, we've already seen clips in the trailers and stuff, but I think that's where, if I had to guess right now, that's where I think the tie-in will be, of where they say, well, okay, you had this whole Sokovovich thing with the Avengers, S.H.I.E.L.D. over here had this whole thing with the Lash. I mean, the universe is not doing so well. We need a little bit of oversight with this. So there you go. Okay, so Director Mack, Did he do a good job?
He did a very good job. He took control. He got everyone else in line. He made the hard calls.
He saved the entire team.
Yes, he saved the entire team. And I think that Coulson made 100% the correct decision in leaving him in charge.
Do you think he had it in his plan all along that he was going to try to make it to the pod and get out of the castle before it blew up?
I think that was always a backup plan, but he knew he might not make it.
Yeah, I think that was always plan A. But just in case, it was okay with him if he didn't. I mean, not okay, but if he had to, then yeah, that's why he told May, look, you're the backup here.
Do you think we're going to see the scenes in a flashback right away, or do you think we're going to have to wait a couple of weeks? Because it's March when we come back, like March 8th or 9th. I can't remember the exact date.
8th, I think.
Yeah.
I'm betting it's going to be an episode or two before we start seeing, what happens there.
Could be, or
I could see them even starting that next episode with that scene. Just because there's no new information we're going to get. We're just going to see exactly how it happened.
Right. So we'll see. Hey, Haley, when Lincoln goes to turn off the power, I thought, hey, who turned out the lights? And for those that don't get that, that is a Doctor Who reference.
It is a Doctor Who reference.
Haley.
So with the crunch, when my first thought was, when he comes back, are we going to want him to take his shirt off anymore? Because that's not going to be pretty.
Well, yeah, there's some theories floating around on that, which we'll get to later. But after he did that, just like a mic drop, he dropped his hand.
Yeah.
Hand drop.
Which I don't think was a good decision. That was a really bad decision.
Ward's holding it in the middle of the street. And how did he know where Malik was going to be?
Because he's a superpowered bad guy.
Yes. Evil can sense evil or something.
Maybe Malik's got some more mini-liths in his trunk and he sensed that.
Yeah, Cajun Sean in the chat said Ward's memory, which does, I read an interview with Brett Dalton earlier today talking about all that. And he says, yeah, he does have access to Ward's memories, which, yeah, you look at
Will,
Death and Will.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
Yeah, he does have access to Ward's memories there.
Cajun Sean in the chat also said Ward is now a Goa'uld system lord.
Goa'uld.
Goa'uld.
It depends on who's reading the line on the show.
And okay, so for those of you that don't pick up on it, we're giving a lot of Stargate SG-1 references, both in last episode and this episode. Mm-hmm. So if you haven't caught them, I'm sorry, but this is a whole Stargate motif
it's a
here.
Thing.
Yeah.
It's totally.
Ward is looking a lot rougher than Will did when Will was possessed by Death.
Except for his leg.
Oh. Yeah, but like his face, like he's got like huge black eyes.
He was just resuscitated. It takes a little bit.
And to be fair, he'd been shot a couple times. He'd been, in a fight. But okay, I wanted to ask y'all something because I missed this, or I didn't quite miss it, but I looked and I was like, and it didn't really sink in. With Will's leg, was that a bone or like what was going on there?
That's what I thought, but it was hard to get a good look at it because of the weird lighting on the planet.
Because at first when I saw that, I was like, is he a robot?
Yeah, so it's a very short shot, and I watched the episode twice, as I always do, once for the wow factor and then once for the note-taking factor. And I meant to stop at that, but I did look at it as it happens. It's really quick. And the best I could tell, it is an extremely open wound. I think that is how he got killed, is Death took a big bite out of him or something like that. So it never healed, though, which means that you're right.
He died.
Ward might not heal ever from his injuries as well. The shots and the chest crunch.
Yeah, like when I first saw it, like seriously, my first thought was, is he a Terminator now?
Who knows? I mean, we saw the cities.
That's true.
Or a city.
One of 9 cities.
9 cities. What do y'all think? Who do you think lived there? Do you think it's an inhuman thing? Do you think it's some other aliens? What do y'all think? Because my first thought when I saw it was Adelan, but no,
mine
it's
too.
probably...
But then I was like, well, no, Adelan is usually, the Inhuman culture is usually more Earth-based than that. So I don't know that they were on another planet. But I couldn't think of anybody who it might have been. Like, I don't think it's the Kree,
No.
but I guess it could be. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know who it would be. I don't know. I want to know. I don't know if we're ever going to get answers, but I hope we do.
Yeah, who knows? It could come up in the Thor movie, Thor Ragnarok. It could, because the Hulk has to go somewhere, right? It could come up in Guardians of the Galaxy. We just don't know. Oh, before I forget, Coulson, when he first arises from his dream state with Miss Price, and seeing her again.
That was so sad.
But when he takes out his gun, he unloads a clip of icers, I'm assuming, and reloads it with real rounds.
He means business. Yeah. Coulson went there to take care of business. Coulson was not there to take prisoners. Mm-hmm. Coulson went in meaning to kill people.
And then another thing in this episode, a theme in this episode that I noticed, I don't think that Hunter, May, and Mockingbird were really utilized very much. I mean, the story wasn't revolving around them. They were just like the S.H.I.E.L.D. minions almost in this episode, and they weren't prime in any of their scenes or whatever. And I mean, I know May ordered the shooting of the castle, but their scenes were very short. Their lines were very short. What they did they did a little fighting, but not the extensive fighting that we've seen before. So I think that they were a little underused for the episode, but there's so much going on.
This is what happens when you get to this large of a cast, is not every episode can focus on every character, and somebody's going to have to take a back seat for a while just because, they've got 10 main characters now.
Which, if they focus on the Secret Warriors in the second half of the season, then I could see what they wanted to do is take Hunter and Mockingbird away for their own series as well. And I think that's still on the table, right?
I have no idea. It's like every month I hear something different.
Right. Well, it was on to shoot a pilot, and then it was off, and then we heard that it was on again. So it could be the case because there's so much going on. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, can we talk about Fitz and Simmons?
Yes.
No, we can't. We have to call them.
No,
something.
You know why? Because Bobby and Simmons need to kiss already. I mean, come on.
I know. I mean, I love the science babies, but the look on their faces when they met, I was like, and there's my ship again.
No, you can't. They're not Fitz and Simmons. You have to say the thing.
Science babies!
All right, now we can talk about them.
Okay. So first off, Fitz on that planet. Okay, first off, they have gotten so hardcore. And I know I say that every other week. But first we have Simmons, just the second that those lights go out, just breaking loose and running away and letting out Lash and causing trouble. And then we have Fitz on that planet and jumping into the hole and finding Will and having plans and
trying to take Ward's gun.
Oh my God, with the flare gun, shooting Will, Death Will, with the flare gun.
Yeah. So if there is anything left of both Ward and Will when Death takes over them, that would mean that Fitz really did kill Ward. And I don't know if that's going to mean anything to Simmons eventually either.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
He's going to have to tell him. I mean, Fitz was doing what had to be done. I mean, that was something that we haven't talked about. The great dual fight that was going on the planet between Coulson and Ward and Will and Fitz, or Death and Fitz.
Yeah,
actually.
And you meant he really killed Will. I don't think it's going to be an issue because they're going to go in and say, Will died months ago. There was nothing we could do to save him. Even if his memory still exists in there, that's not him.
Well, if Death exits the person, does the person still live?
I think it's kind of like...
I don't think so.
Yeah, in Supernatural, where after the demons get expelled, it's like, they rode him hard, so once the demon's gone, it's just a meat suit and it dies.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm...
An Edgar suit.
I'm trying to think of a good analogy, but I think yours is probably good, so...
All right, so remember, along those lines, remember when Fitz was walking with Will and he said, I didn't think I could visualize the smell? And I was wondering if Death has a certain smell to him or if it was just because Will hadn't bathed in 15 years.
I think Will smells real bad.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, he hasn't bathed in however many years, and second of all, he's dead. So,
rotten. He's a walker.
yep, basically, he's a walker who hasn't had a chance to rot yet.
And then as Coulson was shooting Ward and walking him to the Stargate, he said, I know what my purpose is in the grand plan. So do you think he knew at that point in time that his purpose was to be the host for Death?
I don't know about that, but I think he's really a true believer in all this Hydra stuff now. He's not just, going along for power or anything. He's committed.
Yeah, he's found a thing. This thing makes him feel like he has purpose. Therefore, because he sunk so much time and effort into it, he's like, this is my thing.
Okay, so I know we talked about her before, but the one last thing I have to say, I have to say, when you're taking a look at the S.H.I.E.L.D. team and you take a look at Mockingbird's suit, it stands out. She
just looks so cool.
It is. She means business. It's a very flattering suit, meaning it's made for athleticism, and it looks cool. I like it. So I wish the rest of the team would suit up like that.
Yes. My one last thing is the look that Fitz and Coulson give each other when everyone's all hugging and glad they're all alive.
Was Fitz looking back at him?
Fitz was looking back at him.
Okay.
And I think Fitz knows that Coulson did something bad. I think.
Well,
but I don't know if Fitz. I don't know if
everybody wanted to kill him though. Fitz wanted to kill him,
or maybe they're looking at each other like that because they know that Ward came back. I don't know, but there's a definite look there. Like when I first saw that look, my thought is, oh no, don't tell me it got into Coulson.
Right. Well, yeah, it could have split into three. We don't know.
So I was really, really relieved when Dead Ward showed up at the end. Yeah. So I was like, oh, good.
That would have been
fine. I'm relieved.
3 months of hard conjecture on the internet. So CGI wise, I loved the planes. I loved the bus 2. Because we're not going to say the other term. I love the bus 2 and the Quinjet just coming together and separating and stuff like that. That was just phenomenal stuff. I'm glad they saved some money for that. Although we didn't see like the big CGI that we've seen in finales and mid-season finales before. Yes, we saw some, but I don't think there was a lot.
I feel like they're saving it because I think we're going to see a lot more Inhuman power stuff in the next half of the season, and that's probably going to take a lot of the budget.
Well, we saw little bits, right? So Joey's bulletproof.
Or and he's super excited about it.
Yes, I would be too.
Love how Matt calls him rookie. So there was that. There was the drain that he melted to get in. There was just different things that they either showed or didn't show that were little things, but and I think it was nicely done. It made it believable, at least.
There was the burning effect
on Will. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been waiting to talk about this, but I'm just going to talk about it now since there have been numerous references to the chat. Starsaber _222 at Stephen Wandrew and at Cajun Sean have all brought this up. We're talking about the fact that there was a Star Wars reference, and it was that Coulson woke up on the planet and said, "I'll be damned, Tatooine," which is wrong because it's 2 suns, not 2 moons.
Still, though,
concussion.
It's a desert.
I'll give it to him.
Concussion.
Right. He's concussed. Get off his back.
All right.
Yeah, product placement Star Wars like it needs the help.
Is there anybody on the planet that doesn't know Star Wars is coming out?
I'm sure there's somebody who's been in a coma for 20 years.
Nobody in reach of this podcast, let me tell you. All right. I am, believe it or not, largely out of notes. I know there's lots more to discuss. I will turn it over to Lauren first because I know that Haley's got stuff plus quotes.
Okay, the only things I really wanted to talk about were the science babies, the look,
Lash's killing spree.
Real quick speculation. How do you think that Malik and Deadward are going to work together next year? Do you think they will? Do you think that we're just going to like straight up murder him?
Malik was so enthused. He's like, oh man,
okay,
I got what I wanted.
He's like, he got a new puppy.
I don't think he's going to kill him right away, but he's definitely going to kill him before the finale. He's going to be like, I don't need you. Snap.
Oh, so your death is going to kill Malik.
Yes, definitely.
It's like, how long can they afford Powers Booth for?
Now, wait a minute. So Lash could be protective of Malik. You don't know what kind of relationship that they have developed.
That's also true. There was that whole discussion that we only saw the hint of in the shawarma.
Right.
But I don't think that it's necessarily a good relationship.
Well,
I think that there's still enough of Andrew there to not want to be part of Hydra.
Yeah. I think he's going to run off and do his own thing. Killing people. Lots of people.
Malik or Lash?
Lash.
Lash is
Both
going
either.
Lash is not interested necessarily in killing people. He is very interested in killing Inhumans.
Inhumans are people too.
Are you saying Inhumans aren't people?
Well,
That's
it's
racist.
slightly different genetic coded people. I guess. I don't know. So what else you got, Lauren?
That was really it, I guess.
All right. Haley, what else you got that we haven't discussed yet?
Just quotes.
All right. I know there was a ton of quotes. I resisted the urge to say any of them because I was leaving them for you. So go ahead. What's your first quote?
Make a plan. Plan turns to rubbish. Make a new plan.
I like the hit the
Hunter.
castle and open the portal stuff.
Death is the only thing returning through that portal.
Right. Very foreboding.
This was also a nice little bit of foreshadowing on the second viewing. How long you been here? Feels like forever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was actually Will. The second viewing, I watched Will the entire time thinking, okay, so how is he going to explain that he's Will? And he was playing it off, how is he going to explain that he's Will when he's actually Death? And he was playing it off pretty good. And I was wondering why he kept Fitz alive, but he needed to know when the portal was opening for sure.
See your how Simmons managed to survive all those cold nights.
Do you want to shoot him?
Word is the biggest jerk. Just, oh, God.
I'm glad he got his chest crushed.
Back to a little discussion we had last week about Simmons' crush over Ward. And I was wondering if that was ever going to come back. Because whatever Will was is in Death now, which is in Ward.
Oh, that's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Does he keep the memories of his previous
I bet he does.
hosts? Oh, that's going to be like triple creepy.
It's double creepy already because of Ward and Will, but then throw in Death and...
Oh, I bet he's going to say terrible things in front of Fitz next time.
You could.
Oh, man, I'm already not liking this.
But it's nothing that Fitz isn't mentally prepared for, I believe. I think he knows. I mean, that's the whole reason he went there. He went there to get Will for Simmons.
Yeah, Fitz and Simmons are both hardcore. They'll do some smashing.
Yep.
Science smashing.
Okay. Are we supposed to wait here or...
Does it matter if I'm scared? We're all scared, May. I'm not scared.
Okay, everyone but May. All right. That's all my quotes because I didn't get to finish rewatching the episode to take more.
Okay. So phenomenal episode. It'll be great to rewatch this again and again. I still have 4,722 on my DVRs. I plan to watch it again in the holidays just to take it all in. It's going to be great. I wish I would have time to watch the whole series because it would be great to mainstream this, mainline it, whatever you want to call it. It'd be great. All right. One last call. Any seconds, thirds going?
Let's do the next thing.
Gone. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
You ladies are ready
Next
for the
thing.
next thing. Here we go.
Next thing.
Jessica Jones!
Jessica Jones!
It's the first
Okay,
episode.
So, yeah, we're talking the first episode of Jessica Jones, aka Ladies' Night. And this one was directed by S.J. Clarkson, who I'm looking at some of her other previous credits, and she's done an episode of Orange is the New Black, Turn, The Bridge, Bates Motel, a lot of stuff that's been really popular in recent years. And it was written by Melissa Rosenberg, who was the one who originally worked on this for ABC. And I know that a lot of people were really upset because she's also the one who adapted the Twilight movies to screen. But if you ever go to clealinda.livejournal.com, Clealinda has some really good analyses of how Melissa Jones actually badassified, or at least desuckified Twilight. And she's also written for Dexter and Birds of Prey, Hercules, Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. So
Wait, Kevin Sorbo Hercules?
Yes, Kevin Sorbo Hercules. Right? So, okay. The first episode, we get our intro to Jessica Jones. We get our intro to Luke Cage, to Trisha Walker. Basically, most of our major players. And just quick rundown. What did y'all think? Did y'all have any favorite standout moments this episode?
Well, the second watch through, first of all, you know what's going to happen the entire series. So there's a lot of stuff that's given away in this episode on the second watch that you're not familiar with on the first one. And the first thing that stood out to me, which was, it kind of stood out in the first viewing, was the fact that Jessica showed off her powers right away when she climbed the fire escape, when she lifted the car, that sort of thing. But another thing that stood out, and I think this is really the only episode that she is doing a non-series related PI job.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
she did too. She served the papers, which I don't think that came up again, really. And then
yes, it does.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're right. And then the other one was the fact that I think that whole thing was just set up so that her window was broken on her door.
Yes.
Basically, yes. That scene was directly from the comics, with her throwing the guy through the door and the line and everything.
But the fact that she can't sleep, the fact that she is an alcoholic, and the fact that can we say spoilers from the entire series, or are we just going to take this one at a time? What's our rules of engagement here?
Let's go one at a time. Allude to it, but let's just go.
Okay, so Jessica is seeing flashbacks in her mind. She's going over Kilgrave. She's going over Kilgrave in her mind, and eventually why she is doing that, and it's speculation if he is controlling her at this point in time or not. So she wakes up in the middle of the night and she goes to see Luke Cage's bar. And the question is really why? Why is she there? And you learn later the whole reasoning behind what happened there and why she got up in the middle of the night to go over there. So it was great being able to put all those pieces together from the next 12 episodes that showed their cards in the first episode. You just didn't know what you were looking at.
Yeah, the first time I was watching, because there's enough here that's familiar from the Alias comics, but then there's enough that's different that I didn't completely know what to expect, that I didn't know why she was watching Luke Cage. I just kind of thought, well, okay, maybe it's a case, maybe she's just doing this because she likes him. I didn't know. I want to know why later on.
I thought during this episode, it was guilt over something. I didn't know what that something was, but I thought it seemed like she felt guilty about something.
I think I thought originally that it was maybe something to do with looking up other people with powers.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was just going out to do another job. That's how naive I was going into it. But I like both of those, the other powers and whatever else is, looking into the other people with powers and looking into the case at hand.
Yeah.
And of course there's a lot. I will say this, spoilers in generality, there's a lot of death in this series, and seeing some of these characters that aren't going to make it through, and I won't spoil which ones, but it's like, ew, right? What's behind
tough.
it. And it's like, oh, I can't, no, just go, just don't, no.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like you watch a horror movie and you want to be like, no, don't go in that house, or stay out of that room or whatever, but because it's a TV show or movie or whatever it is, you can't change it. So it's already happened. They've already filmed it. But yeah, it's still tough to watch, especially when you know that these particular characters have really done nothing wrong except get caught in the crossfire. And that's really what a lot of this series is about, people who just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's honestly one of the things that I like about the series. After I watched the whole show, I started thinking about it. And the show is basically a metaphor for all sorts of just really unhealthy, abusive relationships and how people get over them, whether it's parental relationships, whether it's abusive friendships, abusive, dating relationships, abusive marriages, a relationship that you're in where somebody doesn't tell you everything, the rapist ex-boyfriend, just all this stuff. And there's just so many angles on it and the different ways that people recover from it. Like you see Jessica, and she's obviously coping, maybe in not the healthiest way, with the alcoholism and the PTSD and the shutting out of her friend, because at the time she only has the one.
Yeah, she doesn't have, she tells that to Jerry. I don't have any friends.
Yeah,
you're in.
Yeah. But, she's continuing on with her life anyway. And when you see her talking to Hope at the end, after Hope has been taken by the same person who took her and having gone through almost exactly the same experience, you hear her saying, it's not your fault. I know what you've been through. And then trying to get her to do the same mental exercises that she learned. And it's not something that you see a lot of victim narratives in fiction, but this is, I think, the realest one that I've read or seen or anything in a long time. And I love it. It's really hard to watch, but I really, really love that and respect that.
Yeah, so there was funny parts that came out as well. The whole laser eyes thing, that was funny. And it's not necessarily funny, but it's very graphic, actually, when Luke Cage and Jessica Jones end up in bed.
Which is also a scene right out of the comics, because, okay, how risque can we get on this? Because there's...
It was extremely risque. I mean, you take away the fact that they were fully clothed, basically, in the scenes.
Also, it's implied that it's butt sex, which is also implied from the comic.
Okay.
So...
Okay, but it was pretty. I mean, how they got Marvel's that was pretty graphic, right?
It's Marvel's first sex scene.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. This show seems much more Netflixy than Daredevil did.
Yeah, it's Marvel's first, same-sex couple with Jerry and her wife, and then Jerry and her girlfriend. It's Marvel's first sex scene with Luke Cage and Jessica.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and there's some other
there's a lot of later going on here.
Right. So what you've got going on is a very intense story, and they don't have the levity points as much as they do in Daredevil. The levity points that they have are more cerebral than in Daredevil. In Daredevil, Foggy is definitely the stand-up comedian that comes out, and it's just flat out funny from time to time. In this, it's not even Gilmore Girls. Maybe it is kind of Gilmore Girlish, where
I've never seen Gilmore Girls.
Oh, you should. It's amazing.
You should.
This is what I've heard, but I'm just like,
I have not watched the entire series, but family members have had it on the background, and I've heard the scenes and whatever, and it's very well written and performed show. So I think you would enjoy it.
Because it's Jane Espenson.
I probably would.
Right. But it's just a different type of show to watch, and I think my issues with watching it, it was very difficult for me to get through this entire series, but my issues with watching it had more to do with the horror aspects, which comes out at the end of this episode with Hope taking out her own parents. That was a shocker to me, even if it was, yeah. And the fact that she said, I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck is this show? And
that was straight out of a horror movie right there.
Right. And I don't particularly do well with horror. Mind control is one thing. Horror is something else. and I almost stopped watching it here. There were several other times. I know the big one was episode 10, so when we get to that, that'll be interesting to see how I take that the second time around. But to end there, but it didn't end in that. If they would have ended in that scene, I think a lot of people would have quit. It ended with Jessica saying, I have a decision to make. I can bug out or I can do something about it. And it's implied when she goes back into the building that she has decided to do something about it. And I think that's what kept me in for episode 2.
Yeah, the whole thing is she was somebody who initially tried running away from her trauma, like just not confronting it. And this is her confronting her trauma. And yeah, it's told through the story of superpowers. And yeah, I like that we see her, breaking locks off of doors and just, lifting up cars and just, not giving a, that anybody sees her, because who's going to believe them? But it's still an incredibly human story.
So I've got a couple of questions that I had when I was watching and they're not incredibly in depth. But first of all, when she throws the boot up to the upstairs neighbor people, why did that boot not go through the ceiling? Because she's got super strength and that could have happened. So
I guess she wasn't throwing that hard.
And she just kind of flung it. Like she just woke up and they're annoying her. And it's not the first time she's flung that boot up there.
Yeah.
But she's not actually like throwing it. It's just kind of a fling.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the very end, when Hope is in the bed and presumably she has received a command to not get out of bed.
Yes.
How does she get out? How does Jessica get her out of the bed? Because as we've seen,
she's stronger.
Yeah.
She is physically pulling her out of the bed. That's the only way she could. If she didn't have super strength, she wouldn't have been able to do it.
Why did she not go back to the bed then afterwards?
Because the effect wears off eventually.
Yeah.
But as we learn, okay, we'll just leave that on the table.
I mean, this light spoiler. It's 12 hours is the length of that window. So presumably she knocked her unconscious, and then by the time she woke up, that amount of time had passed.
I forgot that she knocked her unconscious. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. I do have another question though. Do you think in between the time that Jessica is flashing back to, and we learn a lot about that later, so I just won't spoil that, and the beginning of this episode, do you think Kilgrave tried to mind control her in that time span? Because it's important for later. Do you think he tried?
Wait, tried to mind control Jessica?
Yes. Do you think he tried to mind control Jessica between the time that he was with her and then that stopped for a reason that we'll find out later in episode 1?
No, because she thinks he's dead up until this episode.
Right.
So they had no contact.
He could have been following her from behind and tried to do it then. I mean, there's a whole bunch of ways that he could have tried to do it. So I get the opinion that he tried, especially with some of the stuff that he set in motion later.
The only reason I don't think so is because I don't think there's been any contact between them.
Okay.
In that, however long it was.
Okay. I'll go with that.
Yeah. Adam in the chat mentioned that if it was the full 12 hours, the compulsion to shoot her parents would have worn off then too.
True.
So he's guessing that Kilgrave covered what to do if she was removed from the bed. And I think that's probably the most likely.
So that was a failure on Jessica to identify that then.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It was an unforeseen circumstance.
She gets really careful later, so maybe this was a lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. What else, Lauren? You're driving this train.
Okay. Okay, since we covered all the sad stuff, any moments that made you smile?
When she delivered the summons to that D-bag, that was hilarious. And then later, Jerry's getting onto her. You threatened him. Yeah, with my laser eyes.
Well, okay, so there was the burger eating treadmiller.
Yes.
That actually, an author that I really like, Jenny Trout, had a moment about that. that she mentioned that there's all these people who are like, yeah, you warn for things and all this other stuff, and yet for the people who have eating disorders, things like that, you don't warn for that. I mean, where were you for that? So I see where she's coming from there.
And then there was the shoe fetish guy right after the burger eating treadmiller. That was gross. I don't have a shoe fetish. Sorry.
Your kink is not my kink, but that's okay.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, laser eyes, my favorite part. Also with Trish and her assistant. Well, I want to meet Channing Tatum.
Who doesn't?
He tried. Right? He said no.
And then a question: who has Elmer's glue in their desk drawer anymore?
I'm pretty sure. Actually,
there you go. Okay.
I have rubber cement.
That's what I have.
Yeah.
I probably do. I might have like one glue. Really crusty bottle of glue over in my drawer. I don't know for sure. I don't know what's in there.
No, wait, no. I do have Elmer's glue for my taxidermy.
Yeah, there you go.
The taxidermy? Okay. I think that's a whole nother subject which we have to explore later. So, and then there was the moment with Hope's roommate got another roommate to step in.
Oh, yeah.
This is my art.
Your art sucks.
Consider it an improvement.
I feel like the other roommate was probably so relieved to see that camera go flying across the room.
Yeah.
I don't know how many hours a GoPro can film at once, but I think you would have to change it out at some point in time. So at that change, that's when you have to do everything you have on. Well,
what is the largest micro SD card they make now?
At least 128. It's probably 256 now, actually.
And then if you did it in low quality, I don't know. I don't know how many hours you could get.
I don't know. Maybe he changes it out when he sleeps.
Yeah.
But then it's not a continuous take.
That's right. Maybe
your art is a lie.
His art is a lie.
All right. So where else are we going on this, Lauren?
Does anyone have any quotes?
Yes.
Because I don't. Okay.
Main Street, Birch Street, Higgins Drive, Cobalt Lane.
Yeah, I took that as the male equivalent, and I know it's completely wrong, but I took that as the male equivalent of thinking about baseball during certain activities. So,
it's supposed to be a grounding exercise. Like when I get panic attacks, usually I say the alphabet backwards in a few different languages.
Oh. Phew, how many?
English, Spanish, and ASL.
Okay, we're going to have to explore that and taxidermy at some point in time. Okay.
That's why it's not crunchy. But the peanut butter.
Okay, incidentally, Jessica Jones and peanut butter is a thing from the comics because in Secret Wars, Secret Love, she and Luke Cage have a discussion about peanut butter in which she thinks crunchy peanut butter, one of them thinks crunchy peanut butter should be a thing and the other one doesn't.
Well, obviously she doesn't because her peanut butter is not crunchy.
But I want to say that in the comics she does because Luke Cage is like, damn it, woman, crunch doesn't belong in peanut butter. I'm going to have to look that up.
It's okay. I won't break. Yeah, you will.
Yeah, that's right. Talking about the risque scene again.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then keep denying it or do something about it.
Right. Which is, I was trying to remember the rest of the series, and I don't remember her having so much voiceover narrative in the later episodes, but maybe that's just something that I'm blocking.
No, she doesn't. It's only for like key moments after this.
Well, she's been,
and yes,
and this
Jessica Jones in the comics likes crunchy peanut butter.
She spends so much of this episode by herself. She's at this point she has no friends. She's not talking to anybody, so they've got voiceover. And then later in the series, she kind of starts reaching out to her friends again, so they don't need the voiceover as much.
It was hard for me to look at Malcolm in this episode.
Yeah.
It was because you know the backstory of what's going on there, and it was just like, wow. And other characters as well. Again, no spoilers, unfortunately. I would love to talk about it. Okay.
They also, I don't know if I noticed this the first time, but Malcolm's arm had horrible track marks. I don't think I looked that closely last time.
He was
Yeah, I didn't either.
definitely being portrayed as a junkie.
Well, I mean, yeah, we knew that, but I just didn't see the extent of the track marks the first time I watched the episode.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else? Are we concluded?
I think we're good.
I think we're concluded.
All right. We're going to be moving on to some news, but first I want to give a little insight into the network that we are a part of. We're a part of the GonnaGeek.com network, and you can find it at GonnaGeek.com or GonnaGeekNetwork.com. A bunch of related geeky shows. If you like this sort of content here, you will like the sort of content there. And one of the shows out there is actually a news podcast. It comes out 1 to 3 times a week. It is Nerd Alert News. The latest one out right now is episode 12, Telltale Makes All the Games. In this episode, Chris, who's the host of Nerd Alert News, talks about the huge viewing number for the Civil War trailer. So if you like Civil War, check out Nerd Alert News. Haley also did a talk about an hour-long podcast, basically, on Nerd Alert News about the Civil War trailer, and that is Nerd Alert News number 9. But in episode 12, Carrie Fisher's opinion on the Slave Leia controversy. I am very interested in hearing about that. And the rumors that Apple may be ditching the traditional headphone before rolling into some rapid-fire news, and he loves the rapid-fire news. So if you have any ideas on geek news that you want to hear on that, go ahead and hit Chris up, but go ahead and listen to the podcast. It's great to get all your nerd news in one fell swoop. All right, you ladies ready for some news?
Yay!
Do it.
All right, this first story I saw almost a week ago, maybe right after we recorded or whatever, but Marvel has named the Iron Fist showrunner.
Yes. So remember when we were all worried that, oh no, they're not going to be doing Iron Fist because of the Punisher, because they can't think of a good story. Well, apparently that's not the case, because earlier this week it was announced that Scott Buck, who worked on Dexter and 6 Feet Under, and Rome, he helped work on Rome, is going to be working on Iron Fist. He came in with a take on Iron Fist that quite simply knocked us off our feet, said Jeff Loeb. And let me see, I found another link that supposedly has, no, I think this might be the same link. No, it's not. Describes as Marvel as follows. Returning to New York City after being missing for years, Daniel Rand fights against the criminal element corrupting New York City with his incredible kung fu mastery and ability to summon the awesome power of the fiery Iron Fist. So, first of all, we'll see if they have his and Luke Cage's awesome bromance, because that is a thing of legend.
Legend.
And second of all, we'll see who they cast as Danny Rand.
Will be cool to see. And then
Yes.
also, are you done with that one?
I am done with that one.
Okay, and then also, Anthony Russo had a little thing to say about the Defenders and the Infinity War series, or pair of movies, or whatever.
Yeah, it is. I mean, for all of us who are hoping that maybe they'd put the Defenders in Infinity War and some of the later Marvel stuff, Anthony Russo said that it would be difficult to put them in Infinity War.
Yep. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
And then,
I read an article that pointed out that all of the Marvel movies are run kind of by a creative team, so they have kind of control over what those stories are going to do and how they're going to develop, and that the Marvel TV stuff is not controlled by the same creative team, so it's hard for them to integrate those things.
well, see, the Marvel creative team was disbanded, so the movies are
Right.
being run by Kevin Feige now, nobody else. There is no creative team anymore in the cinematic universe.
Well,
That's actually
there's
what,
still a team, but he's just in charge of it.
Yeah, that's actually what Anthony Russo's quote is. He says, "It's complicated. When we start to serialize the telling of stories, it's difficult. You have to have a lot of control and focus on the course of history. The films are controlled by a group led by Kevin Feige, so they function as a unit. Other products, even if they are from Marvel, are controlled by others. So then there's the possibility of a crossover, but it's more complicated."
See, I think this is precisely the reason why DC didn't want to go down the path of connecting all their universes, because they didn't see a way to control all of the properties at once. And I think Marvel is finally running into that issue where you have different creative teams running different parts of the universe. So you have an issue here where you don't think the Defenders are going to be part of basically an Avengers sort of thing. So I think eventually... We've all talked about it. When is this going to break down? And I don't know. I don't know if it ever will, but I do see it coming in a few years where attention will wane. It happened with Star Trek. Star Trek is my poster child for this, because you had TNG, then you had Voyager and DS9, and then you had Enterprise, and Enterprise ended it. And because people were just had Star Trek fatigue at that point in time. Eventually, we're going to get to comic book fatigue. I just don't know when it's going to be. All right. So somebody has to say 2 words to start off this next one. So
Luke Cage!
There you go. So we have some filming pics from Luke Cage. What do we got?
Yes, we do. Okay. So vulture.com has some pictures from Luke Cage's filming. And it looks good. We got Luke Cage in a hoodie. We got Alfre Woodard on set. We got Luke Cage and Claire Temple just walking around. We got a couple of pictures of Claire, so this gives me great hope. We got Misty Knight. I see no robot arm, though, which has me a little disappointed. But hey, series isn't over yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really looking forward to this, and I want to know what happens.
So for the audio listener, I am going to describe what I am holding right now. Yes, it is my copy of Ant-Man. Picked it up when it came out yesterday. Yesterday was Tuesday. We record on Wednesdays. So yes, the Ant-Man movie is out, and it is available for purchase, in all the means, Blu-ray 3D, DVD, digital copy, everything like that. So go ahead and pick it up for a gift for your favorite comic person, that your friend, family member that you're giving to. Go ahead and do that. So,
or yourself.
Yeah, which is what I did. I end up giving myself geek gifts because, well, nobody understands me. I'm so misunderstood.
Hey, treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Okay. So the last bit of news is something that traditionally I have campaigned against because of horrible experience that we've had in the past 100 episodes of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. But I guess we're going to talk about it. It's a movie without a director, and they're searching for one. So what do we got going on with Black Panther?
Okay, so we've gone through a few different announcements of, hey, Marvel's looking at this person for director. Oh, wait, no, they turned it down. And one of those directors was Ryan Coogler, who directed Creed and Fruitvale Station. But it looks like he's in talks with Marvel again. So, I don't know, maybe we'll see soon. I mean, I would like to have a good director for Black Panther because he's an awesome character. And I want someone to do something really cool and innovative and good with this property. But, I mean, we'll see. Right now, Ryan Coogler's very hot. Creed was, I think the #1 movie in America for a while.
Yeah.
And it's been getting really good reviews, and we'll see.
I haven't had time to see it. I would have loved to. It's a continuation of the Rocky series, and Sylvester Stallone was involved, and as the progression of his character as well. So, anyway, back to Black Panther. I think Marvel has all sorts of issues right now in casting directors, producers, actors. Oh, by the way, I've started my own campaign. Anna Hopkins for Captain Marvel is my campaign, and I will be on that bandwagon with Kevin Feige and Anna herself, which she approves of it, by the way. I did speak to her. She said, yeah. So
I know that name.
She played Berlin in Defiance. She also plays
Oliver
Queen's,
the chick from Not Another Teen Movie.
She also plays Oliver Queen's baby mama in Arrow and Flash, I guess now too.
I am way behind on that show.
Yes, you are. So last week was an incredible crossover between Flash and
so good
Arrow, and then we did our own crossover, Haley, you and I.
Right, between Crimson Comet and Starling Tribune.
Yeah, so there's going on last week. It was great, so go check that out. Just an impromptu plug there. So with Black Panther, I just hope that they get that. I hope that Marvel actually casts Captain Marvel because
Yes.
I mean they got to get that train going because Captain Marvel is just such a hot commodity. I believe it's going to revitalize the Marvel universe when it.
Plus, if we get her as Captain Marvel, and I know this is a really stupid reason, but it would be a fun little not another teen movie reunion with her. And
That's true. I didn't thought about that.
It's
I
the
didn't
stupidest of all possible reasons.
I didn't even think about it until last week when she showed up on Arrow. I was like, oh, that would be so cool. I just put it together. So she would have to dye her hair blonde, but anything's possible, right? All right. Any other news points you two ladies have?
None that I found. Or
right.
More that I found, but none that I felt were really like newsworthy.
All right. So we already talked about the crossover, so we're going to get to feedback. We had an excessive amount of feedback this past week, and we thank everybody for tweeting us, for getting us on Facebook, for messaging us privately, for emailing us, for giving us voicemails. You guys are great. Thank you very much. If you're listening to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., if you're watching us on Blab, if you're watching us on YouTube, that is great. And we got YouTube comments again. This is awesome. So thank you very much. So we're going to go over not everything, but a few things. First of all, I'm going to go back to Andy Migna because he's been a long-term fan. Really appreciate that. He did private message us. And remember last week we were talking about what were we referring to in Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. 84, and he's with Deep Impact and Armageddon. He said, you thought about Deep Impact regarding something about destroying the East Coast like a tidal wave or so. So that's why it came up. Probably in relation to Avengers or something.
Yeah, I went back and I was listening to that episode and I was like, oh, that's what it was like going back in time a little bit. It was kind of fun.
And just a little spoiler, you will be hearing more of that in the coming weeks. So just hang tight. The lost episodes of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be coming out. And then he also said, I do respect you if you had a cutoff date for entries, but you didn't explain that it was a cutoff date. Well, we did on Gonna Geek number 121 when we talked about it. We were just like, look, when he came out, we had to stop taking bets in. So there you go. And then also our winner from the Marvel Crate last week continued a private conversation going on because we passed the address back and forth. He said, did you see last night's episode? He said, yeah, I saw it. And he said, I did not see that coming after Coulson killed him. Yes, I talked about it last week. Yes, I did. And he said, yeah, true. Who would have thought that the ultimate inhuman would be a glowing brain slug? Going from host to host to host to host. But if Glowy the brain slug inhabits corpses, how does it have their memories as well? So we talked about that earlier, and it'll be interesting to see. I think it does have the memories.
I think so too.
So thank you very much for all of those conversations. And congratulations again at Born to Eat Bacon on Twitter. And then Andy Migna in his live tweet, because his live tweet is like 12 hours off of our live tweet, he said he was disappointed in Clark Gregg. Tatooine has 2 suns and multiple rooms.
Moons.
But his reference, So, yeah, there's...
Again, he was concussed.
There you go. And Cajun Sean, I'll put this in the show notes, and you can go to his Twitter feed on December 5th. He said this. He said, look, I found an axe shotgun camo in the mobile game Kill Shot. So I took a look at this, and the axe blade basically is where the stock is. So I'm like putting the gun, even though it's a shotgun, and a lot of people shoot them from the hip. If you're actually shooting it from your shoulder,
you're going to cut off your ear.
Yeah.
Cut off your shoulder. So
well, no, because the butt of the axe head would be flat, but if there was a recoil and it like came up, like
true. Okay, true. Right.
Okay, so I know that speaking of this, I know that in the new Fallout game, in Fallout 4, you can modify your weapons and stuff. If anybody in there manages to make an axe shotgun, screen cap it and send it to us. I don't know if you can. I know there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. If anybody manages to make an axe shotgun, send it to us.
There you go. Andy Migna also tweeted us out in the open, and he said in his native tongue, which I ran through Google Translate. So thank you very much, Google, for making it translate. He basically said, "Congratulations on 100 episodes."
That's not
in
his
Spanish,
native tongue.
dude.
What's
His
that?
native tongue is German, and he sent that to
That's
us in Spanish.
Oh, it was. So it was for Lauren. Okay, I get it. See, Google Translate didn't tell me what language it was. But basically, he said, "Congratulations on 100 episodes. We didn't have it last time, so thank you very much. We really appreciate that." And also there was a voicemail for Happy. So I will do that next time. There's somebody sent us a great voicemail that I didn't have queued up. Yeah, bad SP. So you know who you are. I will get it in next episode. So,
That's what she said.
Literally, that is what she said in this particular case. So, Born to Eat Bacon also said, "Fitsified, an item, gadget, or gizmo that has been upgraded, quote unquote, by Fitz." And there was a long conversation on that. And also at Mr. Paracletes, it was nice to hear from him. He said, "If it's not broke, don't fix it."
But
There you go. And then at Kim Spores chimed in and said, "Haha, good theory." And then one of the creators of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., the operator, that is at @the_operator01 on Twitter, said, "Admittedly got a little verklempt when Coulson and May hugged."
me too. Felinda for life.
So she had just been notified that Lash was out and about, and Lash is her husband, and she's the one who
Ex-husband.
Okay, ex-husband. They were getting back together, though. And she is the one that agreed to cage him, imprison him, take it what you will, put him in stasis so that he can be fixed later. And he came out, and he was obviously not Andrew Gardner. So I think it meant a lot of her letting go of that with her hug with Coulson. So very much.
Felinda.
It's a real thing now.
Life.
Yep. So Facebook, I just want to say thank you very much. We've been getting a ton of likes, not only to the page, but each individual posts. We appreciate all of that. So now I'm going to get to 2 voicemails. There should be a third. I'm sorry about that, but here we go on the first one.
Hey guys, this is Adam calling in with feedback on the mid-season finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So Coulson straight up murdered Ward in cold blood. I mean, I kind of had a hunch that Ward would end up getting possessed by death somehow, but I didn't expect Coulson to kill him after he was already beaten and cause death to reanimate his corpse, as happened. So I'm not quite sure what to think about that. As for the rest of it, I was kind of wondering if something was up with Will, especially since we didn't really see any signs of death before the big reveal. Cities were kind of a nice touch and could potentially tie into Guardians 2 or something like that. We'll have to wait and see. Now back to Earth. Everyone was badasses, even Joey, as not quite sure of himself as he was. I kind of figured he knew the bullets would melt, but he was surprised when it happened, which means that him jumping in front of Daisy like that was kind of dumb on his part. And Andrew is back on the loose now and alone. Kind of wish they had left something open by having one of the other Inhumans just be missing, not, in pieces. But we'll have to see where that goes. Kind of wonder if the big sacrifice move in the finale to sort of go along with Hyde and Jiaying last season will be Lash taking out Death and dying in the process. We'll have to wait and see there as well. Can't wait to hear what you guys think. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you very much, Adam. We appreciate all your assistance on the podcast, your voicemails, your tweets, your segment on Long Box Edition, which, by the way, is out for this week. We are not going to go through the comic book segments on this podcast. So go see Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Long Box for the week. December 9th, 2015 will be the one covering this week. So, ladies, what else do you have to say about his voicemail?
I think he covered it pretty well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He did. And his voicemail was recorded right directly after the episode, as he does with Flash, which is an incredibly short time period because
He's got a
starts watching
DVR
Agents
now.
of S.H.I.E.L.D. right?
Yes.
Oh, way
Yes.
to go, Adam!
One
And
of
then
us.
he gives an Arrow and Supergirl, so he does feedback for all the shows. We really appreciate it. Guess what? Through the magic of how I've got things set up, the lost voicemail is actually queued up, and you guys are going to like it. Haven't ever listened to it, but I know you're going to like it because I know who sent it. So here we go.
Hi guys. First things first, congratulations on 100 episodes. 100 great episodes on S.H.I.E.L.D. and the general comic Marvel universe. Sorry, bye-bye. Okay, now to the episode. Science babies! Oh, they were so adorable and sad. And oh my god, science babies. This episode reminded me how much I love all these characters. I was even starting to really like Banks and Rosalind until stupid Ward killed them. Because Ward is stupid. He's unredeemable and there's nothing he could possibly do to make me like him or even slightly root for him. I'm kind of hoping he dies painfully on the planet. But Coulson and Fitz have to make it back okay, obviously. Mac's a really great leader, who knew? And Daisy finally gets her team. Yay! Awesome episode, awesome podcast. Happy 100th. Bye!
Thank you very much, Libby. That was from last week, and I wish that we were in some sort of time zone which we could have her on the podcast, because that would be awesome having her on the podcast. I like the way she talks. I like the way she
doesn't need to sleep, does she? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the t-shirt's on the way, so let us know when it gets there. Thank you very much, Libby. All right. We do have another voicemail from somebody in our past.
All right, guys, it's Cody. Yes, the one you know from Twitter. I just wanted to call and say he was the best part of the show. I know I'm weird. I know I'm weird for liking Ward, but since season 1, he's been the best part of the show. And I realize this is probably the first time I've actually called into this show, too. So this is going to be really weird and funny. He was the best part of the show to me. Oh, well. All right, guys. Bye.
He was the best part.
You know what? I haven't said this to you in a while, Cody. Shut your whore mouth.
So we appreciate your call. Thank you very much. And you need to call in more often. And yes, Ward is not gone. He's now death, and he will be around for a while because he's going to be the big
He's still
villain
here.
for a while.
He's just not Ward anymore.
Upgraded.
It's not like Bill Paxton.
Oh yeah, no.
Right? Bill Paxton was a big name that they brought in for one season, or Adama last season, right? Edward
or
James
Lucy
almost,
Lawless,
right? So
still
right,
bitter
so
about that.
I know.
It's Brett Dalton. He's going to be around for a while, and I just don't see him leaving. And if he does, I mean, they're just going to have to bring in somebody that's even better, and I just don't see that. So Brett's going to be around for a while. And matter of fact, some of the postulation is maybe if the green slug leaves him, can he still live? I don't think so, but
I don't know. We've got
they could science it.
In the Marvel Universe, we've got aliens and magic and science, and anything could happen.
And Tahiti.
Yeah, and
Tahiti.
And Coulson was dead too, right?
He got better.
He did get better.
So thank you very much to everybody that came in on that called in on the voicemail or sent me an MP3 file. We really appreciate it. And it's great hearing from across the pond as well, the Pacific pond, whatever. Okay, one last feedback. And I know this is long, but we had a lot of feedback this week, and we just wanted to make sure that everybody was accounted for. On YouTube, again, Soren Fogg came back and he said, I think it has to be Coulson's turn to punch Ward. That's what happened. He not just punched him, but he shot him not once, but twice, even though I really want Fitz to. Remember, Simmons tried to kill him too, so it can't be her turn. Spoiler, in the promo, so this is before the episode came out, in the promo, in a close-up, Ward looks like he has been in a fight, so somebody punches him, and there is only 3 options.
Well, you weren't wrong.
Way to go, Soren. And we appreciate your comments last week, this week, and keep them coming. We really do appreciate it. And then we actually got an email that I want to bring attention to. It's a longtime listener, first time emailer. It's Agent Ascender. He wanted to share a few things, And I'm not going to read the entire email, but there's one important thing that we have to get to. It's his last statement here. Now, time for poor Coulson. Coulson finally got his closure and killed Ward so that Ward won't kill any more people Coulson cares about. Coulson could have easily left Ward alive just to die on the planet so he didn't have to cope with killing him. To paraphrase Batman Begins, I'm not going to kill him, or I'm not going to kill you, but that doesn't mean I have to save you. Okay,
Yeah,
so
you
that
said
was my
exactly like Batman.
voice.
Good job.
Sorry.
It's really good.
Yeah, thanks. But it's all those acting classes. They're really paying off. But the ironic thing is that by killing Ward, Coulson actually made him eligible to be taken over by the Inhuman. Inhuman Ward will likely be responsible for many, many deaths, and it will all be possible because Coulson killed Ward. Had Ward been left alive, there was always a chance he could come back to do more harm, but then he would not have been able to be taken over by the Inhuman.
It says a lot about like revenge and all that, doesn't it? Like if Coulson had shown a little bit of mercy or something like that, then maybe this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, like Bilbo.
Exactly, like Bilbo. And Ward is his Gollum, except not naked.
Okay, so there's cause and effect here, but I don't necessarily. And a lot of times you can point the blame on somebody. In this particular case, I'm not going to blame Coulson, not at all. Killing Ward was an objective for a very long time, terminating him, and Coulson actually did it. What several people did not do, and I think it's okay. It's an effect. It's like Daisy with the Inhuman Terrigen Mist crystals at the end of last season. It wasn't. It's something that had to have been done, but in the end, it was the same effect as what she would have done.
Yeah, but
anyway.
in terms of larger stories and larger themes and stuff like that, you could see it as a case of your revenge made this larger act of evil possible.
Yeah.
But it was really satisfying.
Right. All right. You guys have any more feedback that I didn't cover?
I don't think so.
Anything else to say? All right. We're going to walk this one out. Yeah. Haley?
No. I'm getting ready to walk it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we have a little bit of an announcement to make here. We have gone over our collective schedules, and unfortunately, next week Star Wars opens. The week after that, I am out of town with holiday family stuff, and the week after that, there is an important event going on in one of our lives, and we cannot podcast that night. So, in 4 weeks, on January 6th, we will be back. Now, there will probably be content coming out that you have not heard yet between now and then. Maybe the lost episodes, maybe not. I don't know. We'll find out.
The mystery.
But we might be getting together. I might actually open up a blab next Wednesday night if anybody wants to talk Marvel, Star Wars, whatever. But our next official podcast number 102, will be on January 6th. So join us then as we discuss
Jessica Jones.
I was trying to remember my schedule. I was like, wait, when does Agent Carter come back?
Nope,
no.
not yet.
Okay, Jessica Jones.
Episode 2, a.k.a. Crush Syndrome.
Yes.
There we go. So go ahead, go to our webpage on thegonnageek.com web. Go to our site on the gonnageek.com webpage for all of our contact information. We do have a voicemail line. It's great when you guys use it. Really appreciate it. I like what it spells. 844 the bus one. That's 844-843-2871. We have, as we just talked about, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube channel, all of the live podcasts going on the Gonna Geek YouTube channel, so you can check us out there. And don't forget, we have forums. That's at forums.gonnageek.com. And also, if you're looking for the live podcast before it goes out on the regular feed, just go to Spreaker, and you can actually sign up to subscribe to the RSS feed on Spreaker, so you get the live podcast. But if you want the edited version, it will be coming out in iTunes, and on Sunday nights is the regular release schedule. So thank you to everybody for your feedback. This was a phenomenal week. I really like watching this show, and I really like talking about it for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Jessica Jones and general Marvel comic universe is great to talk to. I've been to the comic store multiple times in the last couple of months. I was just there today, as a matter of fact. It just happened to be in that part of town, and I stopped by and saw what was new to pick up, and there was a Captain Marvel trade paperback that really had my attention. I might actually have to get that next time. So thank you very much. I really appreciate everybody listening, downloading the podcast. We do this for you, so thank you for participating.
Thank you to everybody who's given us feedback on Twitter, everybody who joins up for the live tweets, everybody who sends us news. You guys just make it such a joy to be on there. And just thank you again so much for being there for us.
Yeah, and I've been watching the chat scroll by, and we've had several people join Blab today to come hang out with us. So thank you to everyone that's in Blab right now, chatting away with us while we blabber on.
Yeah, thank you very much. And then also, before I forget, Adam reminded me in the chat that Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Long Box Edition will still be coming out every week on Wednesdays. So you will get your comic book segments as if there's comic books released, Neil will be on it, Adam will be on it. Well, Adam's doing the back S.H.I.E.L.D. episodes as well. And then Lauren doing her X-Men stuff, which is really interesting stuff. I actually paged through some of the X-Men comics at the store today. They are. All right. Thank you very much. And we will see you next year. Until next time, I'm Agent Stargate.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Agent Lauren.
See you in 2016.
Bye-bye.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
And don't forget, after the credits, you guys can come on in and join the blog.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you'll find all of our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual host and do not represent Legends, Stream, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation. No infringement is intended.
Thank you very much, Spreaker listener, for staying with us. We really appreciate you, and we will be back in 2016. Happy holidays, go Star Wars, and Happy New Year.
Star Wars.
All right. Yeah. Seats open. If anybody wants to come talk about anything, the seat's open. But I guess it's Adam or Steven or Sean.
Anyone?
Bueller?
Anyone?
Bueller?
Is anybody interested in coming on? If you could just type quickly in chat. Otherwise, we will sign off because it's late and I have to watch Arrow and then go to work early tomorrow.
Neither are we.
Nobody wears pants when they podcast, buddy. Nobody. Which will be interesting. Okay, so for those of you that are still here, I will be on a Podcasters Roundtable tomorrow. It's a show that Ray Ortega produces and a lot of the people that are involved in the podcast industry. So that will be tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. So just search for Podcasters Roundtable. You'll find the link to it. I'm only wearing glasses.
Well,
there's
geeks.com.
Geeks.live.
Geeks.live.
Geeks.live. All right. So I guess that's it. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been a fun year. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
This year has been phenomenal. We started the new podcast this year, which you both are involved in.
You know what? This is my first full year of podcasting. Yeah.
Awesome.
Congratulations. Yeah.
That got out of hand quickly.
That escalated quickly.
It's like
I was just
because I started in March of 2014. So 2015 is my first full year of podcasting.
Yeah, I had been doing Starling Tribune. Yeah, I started that 2 years ago. So last year was my first full year.
I was like, hey, I'll be one of the hosts on this one little podcast. You know, be a fun thing to do in my spare time.
And then
and now it's like
Wing
spare time.
and Jay and I got together, and Chris, we got together and we're like, so Wing's idea about handling the DC universe was, we'll just do a quick 5 minutes on this little show Flash, but we're really going to concentrate on Arrow. And the closer we got. And I took a look at the Flash leak trailer or whatever, post trailer, whatever
leak
it was
pilot.
at the time. Leak pilot. And I was like, this really needs to be a full podcast. And I had toyed with doing one with my son at the time. I was like, it's just not going to be the quality that I'd want on the Gonna Geek Network. We still could have done it, but it wasn't going to be a Gonna Geek quality podcast. And I turned to Haley and said, so you want your own podcast? She's like, yeah, I'm on it.
Like the week before the show comes out. Hey, you want to do a podcast?
Right. Well, and that is how planning on the Gonna Geek Network went for a while. So Haley stepped in and did a wonderful job. Really appreciate everything that she's doing on that. But now you are on what?
5.
6 podcasts? 5. I'm on 6, except for one has basically pod faded, so I'm back to 5. So it's a little much for the beginner. So you don't want to do that if you begin. There's no way you can handle that. So ease into it.
And I can't do, well, I guess I could do one more podcast, but then if I do any more, they won't fit on the back of my business card. So I can't do that. But yeah.
Yeah, that is quite the thing. So I started podcasting my first one. And Haley, I don't know the date of yours, but
years
I know
ago.
it was before.
I did one guest spot on Galactic Water Cooler.
And I think it was after me, and mine was New Year's Day 2011. So if yours was later that year, maybe 2012.
I don't remember.
I think that podcast had ended in 2013. So it was sometime between.
It was in 2012, I think. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was a fun podcast. Really, it's what got me into podcasting, really. So I give a lot of cred to GWC in getting a lot of. Actually, Haley, it probably was your ultimate inspiration as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And I'm not sure about you, Lauren, though. I don't know how you.
I started doing Quantum Tavern and.
Right. But was that based off of the GWC crowd, or was that?
Okay, it's from Eric, who was part of the GWC crowd.
Yep.
And on Twitter, he was asking, like, "Hey, does anyone want to co-host, talk about movies and stuff?" And I was like, "I like movies."
Yeah.
And I was like drunk one night, and so I sent in a thing talking me of like rambling about Sunshine, that movie, the Danny Boyle movie.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You sound very excited. I like that." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And then Cody joined, and then we did that for I want to say it was like a little over a year.
Yeah, I remember it was one of the early GWC offshoots, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Not Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., just Legends.
Not Legends. Legends podcast. It was Tyrion's Landing, right? Was Jeannie's first. And Quantum Tavern and Video Game Construct was another. So those were the early,
I remember at the
too.
last meetup, that one of the last meetups we had, the last one in Dallas, there was like Tyrion's Landing and Legends and something else were there that we're going to do live. And I was the only one from Quantum Tavern that was there, and I got there late, so we didn't do a live podcast or anything.
Thanks for all the props, Leo.
Yes.
And if we are on the tail end of our discussion, but if you want to pop in and talk Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you're more than welcome to come on board. We're looking for feedback if you have anything. How'd you like the episode? I'm assuming you watched the episode, but if we're general Marvel Comic Universe podcast, so anything Marvel. We talked Jessica Jones and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. tonight, but you're welcome to. If you have anything to say, we're here for you. Okay. Yeah. We are Wednesday nights at 9:00 Eastern on Blab every week, except for we're going to be off for the next 3 weeks. So January 6th will be our next podcast back. But if you look into the replays, you'll see we started live on Blab, I believe, in September.
Sure.
So you'll see several months of our back catalogs on the replay. And then also we have a true podcast. It's Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. The edited version comes out, and you can find that on iTunes or wherever podcast you find your podcast. And also we have a specific shorter podcast called Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Long Box Edition on the weekly comic book releases for Marvel. Watch all deep. Well, you're in luck because yes, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Long Box Edition are both on iTunes, as is Haley's show on The Flash called the Crimson Comet podcast. I have a show on Arrow called the Starling Tribune podcast. Haley also has one on Supergirl called Like a Girl.
There's also a movie podcast, More Than Chick Flicks, and a Doctor Who podcast, Gallifrey Public Radio.
And did I miss a DC show? There's Gotham Nightline, but that's not active right now.
There's my train.
Train, yeah.
I got him.
Kitty.
Kitty.
I can get a kitty.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Leo, we're just not going to be on the air. There's Star Wars premieres next week, and the week after is holidays, and the week after that is also holidays. So we'll be back on January 6th talking Jessica Jones. So, and also we have talked about Daredevil, but not all those episodes have released. So over the holidays, those episodes will be releasing. So there will be new content on our iTunes feed, but
Okay.
You're welcome to join us anytime. All right.
Yeah,
I'm out.
time to go get food.
Yep.
You okay. We'll see you guys in 2016.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.